What is going on, guys? Thanks for clicking on the video. I wanted to make this basically first couple days of the league type of video. Just going over what I decided to lead start, where I am, progression. I haven't been able to play as much as I normally would like to play on a league start, so I'm very early into progression. I barely started my Atlas. I spent a lot of time actually playing with the league mechanic throughout the campaign. I didn't rush at all. So I played 11 hours and 28 minutes, so very slow start. I was really taking my time, not trying to rush or anything. So for those that were wondering, I did start Slams, basically a Juggernaut Slam character, just like the walkthrough video that I posted a few weeks ago. So overall, just wanted to go through the early gear as I'm getting into white maps, where the POB is, where the skill tree is, all of that jazz. I'll drop a POB for the current character in the description below as well if you want to check it out for yourself, but it's following along very similarly to the walkthrough that we had. So right now I am still Sunder, but I am right there to switching into Earthshatter. So I have an Earthshatter at 20% quality right here. The next step is getting auto exertion to 20% quality, and then I think we're good to go. I could probably even switch now, but I'd like to wait until we got auto exertion to 20 quality. I do already have Admonisher anointed on my amulet, so we're good to go there. So yeah, really the quality on auto exertion is the last thing I'm really waiting on to switch over to Earthshatter. But Sunder's been doing a great job thus far. So I'll go over the gear real quick. So this axe I actually just created the last time I was playing. So pretty good axe so far. It's a 569 PDPS axe. So decent, not the best thing, but for this stage of the game, it's the best thing I've been able to create so far. Nice healthy chunk of attack speed there. A little bit of life, reduced enemy threshold. Stun threshold rather. And then some flat fizz with hybrid percent fizz, and then normal flat or percent fizz. So pretty decent axe. The league mechanic was pretty good for crafting this. Helmet is nothing special, just some literally a nice chunky life roll, nice chunky armor roll, and a couple resists. I obviously still have one suffix open on this because I got the armor life hybrid roll on this. So probably going to craft another resistance on there. I will likely use the league mechanic to craft on this as well, so I'll go into that more in a second here. Amulet, I actually dropped a Carnage Heart, which is really nice for this build, so awesome to get basically, what is that, 52 to all attributes. That helps out a ton. A little bit of resistance there, and then obviously some leech, and then additional damage while leeching, better recovery from leeching. So for our build, it's really nice. It's a pretty good amulet. I got this 5-link actually from the league mechanic just by clicking on one of the cursed treasures, actually. So I was actually surprised how many natural 5-links I was getting to drop just simply from clicking on them in maps without even running the wages or the charts or anything. But nothing special here. This chest is actually quite trash. So, you know, a lot to do here. Ring is actually pretty decent. We're getting some flat elemental damage, which actually is going to be a detriment here pretty soon, because once I do get a 6th link, I would like to slot in Brutality. So that damage will basically be useless to us once I slot that in. But a little bit of life. The mana is basically here nor there, and then some resistances. For this ring, same thing, some life, resistances, ton of resistances actually on this ring. It's a huge resistance stick for me. I don't think I'll be getting rid of this one anytime soon, unless I find a really decent one with some chaos res. But I could even add more damage onto this. Yeah, this one isn't crafted yet, so, and then some flat fizz, which is always nice. Boot-wise, decent boots, nothing crazy here. Again, there's no life on this. The armor is quite low. Some of these pieces, so the gloves, for instance, the boots, and then this chest piece are actually still out of the campaign. Same thing with this belt here. So a lot of this gear needs to be switched out, but so far it's working pretty well with the slow start that I've had. But yeah, nothing special about these boots. Really, the only thing it's giving me here is the resistances and the move speed, but definitely could do better. Gloves, same thing. A little bit of life regen, some resistances, and some armor. But other than that, these are pretty trash gloves. And we're still making it through. And then the belt's fairly decent, nice healthy chunk of life there, a nice chunk of armor, and then some cold and lightning resistances. It's even got an open suffix, so eventually I would like to change that lightning resistance to like chaos and lightning, and then use the League mechanic to hopefully deterministically or somewhat deterministically craft on another resistance. But that's where we are as far as that goes. So that's the helmet. Flasks are just normal. I haven't even rolled some of these flasks, so again, behind the mana flask I probably don't even need anymore because one of the jewels that I'll go over here in a second. Yeah, that's where we are as far as the gear goes. As far as gems, I have Infernal Cry, Battle Mage's Cry, Seismic Cry, all linked to Auto Exertion, and that's mainly because I'm using Over-Exertion support in my main link. And then that main link right now is Sunder, Melee Physical, Fist of War, Pulverize, and then obviously the Over-Exertion support. I do have Vulnerability that I'm self-casting. Eventually I would like to get to a point where I have a 5 link where I can slot that in here in the Auto-Exertion link. That way Battle Mage's Cry will cast it automatically for me. But that's farther down the line. I'm not really focused on that at the moment. I have the Earthshatter right here that I'm planning on switching into. I'm not actually using that. I do have Herald of Purity on to add extra physical damage, so that's helping a bit. Blood and Sand, obviously, for obviously we're in Blood Stance for the extra damage. Blood Rage again for the extra the damage, the leech, and then the frenzy charges. And then over here I have my movement skills, so Leap Slam attached with faster attacks, life tap support, and then Frost Blink in here. That way I can basically move around freely. I have enough regen here to sustain that, so that's not really a big deal. Let's check out the passive tree. So kind of go over where I am as far as the passive tree goes. So you can see I'm branching out here and branching here a bit, so trying to accomplish a couple different things here. This is actually right here, this is actually an unneeded point because I need this dexterity at the moment for the faster attacks. So ideally I would like to get dex on one of these rings at some point, or a different ring, to cover the dex requirements of faster attacks, but not a big deal. This point's here because I do eventually plan to get this resistance node, the max cold res, and then the prismatic skin to get maxed to max all res. We also went through here originally to get the melee nodes when we were leveling, but I am going to drop those once I complete this this line here for the health and armor nodes, just because I'd rather have those, and these ones are kind of inconsequential at this point. I'd rather have the health and armor going in here, so eventually I will respec these 5 points, and that will give us 5 more points to play with. So we got those. We came up here to get Deep Breath, so for the recovery rate, and then also Warcries can't exert travel skills. That way I'm not wasting exerts when I'm leap slamming. Came over here to also get Measured Fury, so we can exert additional attacks, and then obviously get some additional damage with exerted attacks. We are grabbing the mana nodes here with the increased mana reservation efficiency, along with the 1% to all maximum ally res. If all your pieces of armor have armor on them. Grabbing Juggernaut. Came up here to get the 30% increased damage while in Blood Stance, because we are in Blood Stance. And then also grabbing Slaughter for the Rage on hit, and then all these attack speed nodes, which help out tremendously. Came over here for Barbarism for the extra elemental resistance, life, and max fire res. Obviously, we went Resolute Technique just like in the walkthrough. That way we don't got to worry about accuracy. That's why you don't see any accuracy nodes selected on the tree. Got this Rage Cluster here. This Rage Cluster is really nice. And then we actually did take the Intimidation node. So the 7 to maximum Rage Inherent Loss is 20% faster is also really solid, but I just went with the Intimidation instead. And then just came up here. We got Endurance over here for 1 max Endurance charge, Stamina for another max Endurance charge, and then Vigor for a max Endurance charge. And then because of our Ascendancy here with Unflinching, we got another max endurance charge there. So we're actually rocking 7 endurance charges currently. More on that in a second here. I already mentioned that I anointed Admonisher for the increased Warcry speed and then the increased damage each time we've Warcried recently, so that's definitely helping with our damage. Then we came down here for Bastion Breaker for a nice chunk of damage, plus that Ignore physical damage reduction. Keep down here for the Wrecking Ball wheel, along with 40% increased damage against, or with hits against rare and unique enemies. Grab Golem's Blood up here for a nice chunky max life and some regen. And then we have a couple jewels in here. I'm sorry, we actually came over here for Bloodless to avoid Leech, and then for the life notes, and then obviously the fortification here. Just taking the melee hits, fortify, with the trade-off of -3 to maximum fortification. But yeah, jewel-wise, we do have some pretty substandard jewels in here, but they're helping us out for right now. So this is just helping us with a bit of extra intelligence. Obviously, the life is great, and the damage with two-handed weapons is great as well. So a somewhat decent jewel there, but definitely needs some work. This jewel up here is okay as well. So this one has 10% damage, increased damage with axes, and then a bit of cold resistance here. So also decent, nothing crazy though. And then this jewel up here is actually kind of what has been helping the most. So some increased damage with axes. We can't crit, so that second line is kind of a nothing burger. It's a dead mod, essentially. But that percent of physical attack damage leeches mana is absolutely crucial. If I did not have this, I would constantly be running out of mana. So that one is absolutely needed. And then a bit of an increased attack speed, so that's always welcome as well. So that's kind of where we are as far as the tree goes. Like I said, definitely going to be looking to respec these as soon as I get these last two nodes here. Going to be looking to take the LE res and then the max reses here as well. And then from there, I might actually come down here to get Disciple of the Unyielding. It's going to give a minimum endurance charge and then the chance to gain endurance charges on kill, which is nice. We already have so many ways of gaining endurance charges. That really is kind of not much to us, but the 8% increased damage per endurance charge is definitely nice. That's a decent chunk of endurance, or I'm sorry, damage. The 3% increased area of effect per endurance charge is also going to be nice once we switch to Earthshatter. And then the 5% increased armor per endurance charge is also really going to be nice. So we're going to be grabbing those. And then as far as the mastery, we could take the 3% increased damage per endurance frenzy or power charge as well. We also have 3 frenzy charges, so that would be a total of 30% additional damage from that one point as well. Or we could do the 100% increased charge duration. Honestly, I'm probably going to do the extra damage because we're already going to be so tanky with the endurance charges we have and the armor that we're going to be working towards that. And not to mention, we have no issues keeping up our frenzy and endurance charge as is, so the more damage is what we'll probably roll with for right now. And then as far as Ascendancy goes, obviously we went Juggernaut, so we went for Unflinching first, which is ultimately gives us the ability to gain endurance charges when we're hit, and then subsequently we'll just gain them naturally after being hit. It gains, and then also give us the 1 maximum endurance charge that I spoke about before. And then we went right into Unyielding, basically to get the increased area of effect and the increased damage per endurance charge. This gives us the ability to gain endurance charges when we stun as well, and then increased stun duration, which isn't that big of a deal, but the first 3 lines are definitely significant. So with this node on top of Unflinching, and then eventually once we get Disciple of the Unyielding, it's going to be pretty impossible for us to not have constant uptime on endurance charges, because we're going to be getting them as we're hit, if we stun anybody, and if we kill anybody. So we're going to have max endurance charges pretty much 24/7 without fail. And then we went ahead and grabbed Unstoppable here for a bit of extra movement speed. We can't be stunned, which allowed us to drop this point, and Unwavering Stance here, because Unwavering Stance is basically doing the exact same thing. So it allowed us to drop those 2 points, and then it also gives us action speed cannot be modified below base value. What this inherently means is that we basically cannot be chilled below our base value, and we also can't be frozen. So instead of having to, I don't even think I've set up my Pantheon. Yeah, I haven't. So we can actually switch off of Soul of the Brine King now for Soul of Lunaris. And then we're using, we actually need to be using Soul of, where is it? Where is Relikesh? Relikesh for the bleeding avoidance. So that's what we're doing Pantheon wise. So it actually having Unstoppable here actually gives us the ability to drop those 2 points for Unwavering Stance, and then it also allows us to get out of the Soul of the Brine King Pantheon to go for Lunaris. You could also choose Solaris as well if you're just fighting bosses, and then Arcali really isn't worth it in my opinion. So I think Lunaris is the best bet here. But that's where we are as far as the tree goes. I'm not sure where we're going to take it from here. I'm kind of winging it a little bit. So I've always really liked this Hatchet Master node over here to gain the Onslaught. So we'll see how that feels. We might go there. We might not. But I definitely want to start going into some clusters, because we definitely want Mob Mentality. And then the other, I forget what cluster it is that actually gives you the Onslaught with Warcries, but we'll definitely want that for sure. We're probably also going to come over here to grab some more of these health nodes from Devotion, and then we could even come down here to get additional max res for our tankiness. We could come over here to get Hardy to get some more regen, so when we are getting hit, we're recovering faster. Likewise, there's these nodes here for cost efficiency and more maximum life that we could grab. And then there are some other armor nodes that we'll probably want. I would probably even get this mastery here that says you take 30% increase or reduced extra damage from crits. That's really nice. And then the 100% increased armor from equipped boots and gloves is also nice. As far as our Ascendancy, we haven't gotten our 4th Ascendancy point yet. We are likely going to go with Unrelenting, just for the additional elemental damage reduction per endurance charge, because we already have 7. Both Unbreakable and Untiring are amazing nodes as well. You really can't go wrong with any of them. Unbreakable is really nice because it allows you to absorb some of that chaos damage through armor, and then it also doubles your equipped body armor. But my body armor right now is so trash that it really would do nothing for us, whereas Unrelenting will. Untiring is really nice because it gives us some really nice regen. It makes us basically stagger damage. So if we are able to get like a, I forget what amulet it is, but it's the amulet that basically has you reserve hits. If we could pair that with Untiring, it would be really decent. So yeah, we'll likely go Unrelenting, and then if we get to a point where we can, drop Unyielding in favor of one of these two, but it depends. We're already really tanky, and we gotta just keep moving to gain some more power. We'll also probably come over here to get this other jewel socket so we can throw another jewel in. Yeah, not sure where we're going to take it yet, but we're going to keep playing and see what else we can do here. So that wraps up the character. Like I said, I am going to drop the POB in the description as well if you want to see everything I just went over as well. Follow along. As far as the League mechanic goes, I've played around quite a bit with the League mechanic throughout the campaign and in early maps. I have not played it since they dropped the new patch. This will be the first time I'm actually going to be playing it. But as far as the charts and everything go, I find it really fun. I actually really... it's going to annoy the hell out of me. I actually really enjoy the League mechanic. I think early game, it's very good. It gives you a lot of additional currency. The curse chests, which haunt you or basically possess you throughout an entire zone, are really cool as you're going through the campaign. I would make it a point to always do those. And then the charts and the voyages are pretty fun as well. I know there was a lot of complaints from the community about when you were getting into higher tier voyages that it just didn't feel like the loot was there. I think some of that's been addressed, so I haven't personally got to that point yet, so I'm not sure if that's still the case or not, but I plan on doing a lot more of these here soon. And then as far as the crafting piece of the League mechanic goes,
yes,
this thing is awesome. I personally love this thing as somewhat, or at least what I would consider a moderate player, a moderate casual player that has a decent knowledge of the game, but is by no means an expert or knows everything or knows all of the most advanced crafting techniques and all. This is awesome. I would be extremely sad if I didn't see this go core in some way, shape, or form, because it just makes crafting so much more fun. It makes it more enjoyable and rewarding. Especially again to a player like myself that's been playing for a while but is nowhere near being an expert, but somewhere in between, beginner and advanced. This is really cool because it's easy to understand, and it's not as punishing if you don't get the craft that you need, right? So usually you will get something out of the options that you put in that's somewhat decent and works for you. So big W on the league mechanic as far as my personal opinion is. I really like it. So I'm going to be playing a lot more, and I actually can't wait to play my solo self-found character once I'm done with this guy and see just how far I can get using the league mechanic. Otherwise, that's it, guys. I appreciate you clicking on the video. Appreciate your time as always. Drop a comment below if you want to see more of this, or if you have any specific requests you want to see. I'll put out another update once I've had some more time to play and have been able to invest a little bit more in the character. And then, like I said, eventually once we get an idea for what our next character is going to be. So, as always, thank you guys for clicking on the video, and until next time, see ya.